All right, today's lesson 3.5, right triangle congruence. So we've talked about some triangle congruence with angle, side, and side, and so on. And today we're going to talk about the special parts of a right triangle and how those can show us congruence. So here is your standard, and your objective today is to be able to prove the two right triangles are congruent. So first of all, let's talk about the parts of a right triangle. So, all right. So the parts of a right triangle, first of all, there's a right angle. Okay, so there's a right angle. If it doesn't have a right triangle, it's not a right, if it doesn't have a right angle, it's not a right triangle. Okay, now there are two legs. So you have one leg here and one leg here. These are the two that are adjacent to the right angle. And then you have the one that is special. It is called the hypotenuse. It's a fun name, and we'll use that going forward, but that is called the hypotenuse, and it is the one opposite of the right angle. So if you draw a line straight across there, it would be the one opposite. So I'm going to delete that because it makes it too busy, but that's what the hypotenuse is. All right, so we're going to use those then on some ways to determine if right triangles are congruent. So let's talk about the first one. First one is going to be called hypotenuse leg, or HL for short. And so if we assume that each one of these is a right triangle, and we got one more down here. A hypotenuse and a leg means that the hypotenuse and either of these two legs, so it could be either this one or that one, have to be congruent. So if these two are marked on two separate triangles, then you would have hypotenuse of leg. All right, so it could be either of those legs, but it has to be marked. And this is gonna be for two triangles. We'll see some examples here in a minute. All right, so then there's leg, or LL. And so that would just be the two legs marked. That one's pretty simple. All right, then you have hypotenuse angle. Which is, angle, which is HA. So that would be this hypotenuse here, and then either of these angles, so it could be that angle or that angle there, that could be marked. It just has to be any angle other than the right angle. Okay, and then we're going to say leg angle is the last one, which is LA. And so leg angle could be either leg, that one or that one, and either angle. This one's got lots of flexibility, so that angle or that angle, either one. Okay, so if the same ones are marked in the two triangles, then we have it marked. And the reason all of these works is because if you think about it, we already have one angle marked, right? Because the right angle is congruent to the other right angle. So in case this one, you would have like angle, side, angle. Ah, look at that. That's familiar, right? So in here, we just call it leg angle because it's a little bit separate, but it's really pretty similar to what we've been doing prior to this. All right, so when you're asked to do this, it'll look something like this. It'll say, determine if the two triangles are congruent. If they are, state how you know, okay? So I am looking, and if you notice here, something I want to point out is that these are both sides, these are both sides, this is a side, and this is a side. So everything that we're using today revolves around having at least one side congruent. So make sure that's the case. So This is the hypotenuse because it is directly across from here. So in this case, we have, so the hypotenuse is shared, so that's the same. No angles are marked, but I do have a leg that's marked the same, and it's the same leg between the right angle there, so this one is going to be hypotenuse leg. Okay, so that's how I know. This one, all right, so this is a leg here. This is the hypotenuse over here. We don't know that the hypotenuse is the same. We do know that this leg and this leg are the same. So this one is going to be congruent to leg. Okay. All right, so then this one has angles marked, and we have a hypotenuse. Okay, so I like to always identify where the hypotenuse is. It's very helpful. So here we've got hypotenuse and an angle, so that's one. It's ha. That's my favorite one. And then this one, now they're separated, so there's nothing shared except for what's marked. So let's take a look at those. We've got a leg. Okay, here's the hypotenuse, and here's the hypotenuse. All right, we don't know anything about the hypotenuse, but we do have a leg and an angle. So we have this leg and this angle here. So leg angle. Okay, now sometimes you'll be given something like this. Remember what I pointed out is that every one of them has to have some sort of leg mentioned or side, right? This one just has angles. So this one would be not enough info. So they could theoretically be congruent, but we don't know because there's nothing to prove that they are. Because in theory, if you took one of these and blew it up, made it bigger sides, it could still have the same angles. If we did that proportionally, they would be similar, but not congruent. All right, so that is how we're going to find congruent triangles using the right triangles. Specifics there because they already share one angle, that right angle, as a congruent angle. All right, so good luck to you.